All the Light We Cannot See, out on Netflix, 4-episode miniseries based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Anthony Doerr, starring first-time actress Aria Mia Loberti, joined by Louis Hoffman, Jonas from Dark, Lars Eidinger, who was really good in Persian lessons, Hugh Laurie, and Mark Ruffalo. The story takes place in a small town on the occupied French coast in 1944, towards the end of the Second World War. The Germans are still in town, but the American bombs are falling closer and closer every day. A blind girl is illegally broadcasting from her radio every night, and the young German radio operator becomes fascinated with her. But he's not the only one. An SS officer is looking for the girl as well, believing that her father, who has gone missing months before, has left a legendary diamond in the girl's possession, a diamond that the officer intends to take for himself. The story goes from there, more often than not going into flashbacks and explaining the backstories of the characters as well as events that led them to this point in time in this particular place on the map. I checked out the show because I've heard people praising the book, and I will always tune in for Hugh Laurie as well, but I have to say I was somewhat underwhelmed by it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad show per se. In fact, I thought it was decent, but it's just decent. It's just okay. Whereas with this talent involved and these expectations from an acclaimed book, you would want something more. The story is kind of predictable from the start, largely because of the narrative structure where, because of the way it starts in 1944, it becomes fairly easy to guess what happened in the flashbacks before you even see them. I think performances are mostly okay, with Hugh Laurie being clearly the best of the bunch, but I have to say the main actress didn't convince me as much. I felt like she was a person acting, not a real person in that situation, if that makes sense. Also, I don't know what the fuck Mark Ruffalo was doing in terms of the accent. Most of the characters speak with a British accent, their natural accent in most cases, even though it's supposed to be France and the characters are supposed to be French. The German characters speak with a German accent because they're played by Germans, and then Ruffalo also tries some version of a British accent, but honestly sounds like he's from some made up fantasy land. It's distracting. I wish he'd just stick to American. I mean, it's not like anyone else is speaking French like they should anyway. I also want to say that the show looks kind of unimpressive. I mean, the sets and costumes are fine, but it has the same problem that I've been ragging on for years now in regards to Netflix productions, and I will continue to rag on it until something changes. It looks flat and pedestrian. The combination of lighting and focus and the camera lenses somehow makes this show and so many other things on Netflix look like a sort of low-budget local TV show made here in Poland. Just very, very ordinary. And I think, again, when you're shooting at making a prestige miniseries, I would have liked for it to look prestigious as well. Otherwise, yeah, as I said, the show is fine, but not a must-watch. While I didn't actively dislike too much about it, I also never had that feeling of, oh, I want to see the next episode immediately. I want to continue the story. I was never engrossed by it. I never thought about it afterwards, and I'm pretty sure I will forget half of it by the end of the week. So, decent, but not great.